Hi, I'm John and this is Foxlow Academy. Becoming a professional photographer literally changed my life. Today I'm going to talk about some of the essential items that you're going to need to become a portrait or a boudoir photographer, or to start your photography business. First is kind of an obvious one, it's a camera. So what camera to get is super subjective, and there is a whole range of price points. For many years I shot on Canon DSLRs. In fact, for most of my career, until about 2 years ago, when I finally made the jump to mirrorless and I chose the Sony a7 III as my camera of choice because it gave the best bang for the buck for what we were doing here at the studio. We shoot a lot of natural light and it has great low light ISO performance. It also has incredible autofocus, including eye autofocus, which is amazing, and it basically tracks your subject's eyes and allows for pin sharp photos at an incredible hit rate. But that's not to say it's the best camera. There are more expensive cameras than the Sony a7 III, substantially more expensive, but I found it was the right level. It gave me all the features that I needed at the right price point. They have updated it. The a7 IV is out now. At least I believe it's out now. There weren't enough improvements for me to make the jump and to upgrade again. I'm not like a huge gear guy. I'm not someone who has to have the latest, greatest camera every time. I just make sure that I've always got a really good full frame camera. I would say that's one of the most important things if you're wanting to shoot professionally, is to ensure that you're shooting full frame. Now, if you've got a cropped sensor camera, that doesn't mean that you can't be a photographer, but I would say optimum is full frame, and I really like mirrorless. I do find the autofocus is much faster and more responsive. You're also going to need a lens or lenses. Now, I used to shoot on prime lenses exclusively. So when I was shooting Canon, I'd have a 28 or a 35mm, a 50mm and an 85mm, and I basically shot everything on those lenses. However, when moving to Sony, I decided to break my own rule of only shooting primes, because the 24 to 72.8 Sigma is just astoundingly good. And it means I'm not changing lenses all the time in the studio, so it means I can concentrate more on working with my clients and posing them and working on expressions than fiddling around with lenses. I love prime lenses, I love the quality that you get from them, but the kind of balance and the trade-off of being able to shoot a whole shoot just on one lens is worth it for me. Obviously you're going to need a computer, so we are very much Apple fanatics here at Foxlow, so everything that we do is all done on Apple computers. You can use a PC. I can't guide you on what PC to get because I don't know. I did used to use PCs years ago, but I've been Apple for a long time. And for when we started the studio, we were actually working on MacBook Airs and using spec'd up MacBook Airs to do all of our editing and all of our admin and social media. So that's a really good option. It's an affordable option, and now they've got the M1 processors. The new MacBook Airs look astoundingly good. You could probably get away with the base model and still be able to run Photoshop and Lightroom and even do some video editing on it. So that's a really good affordable option. At the studio, we have a Mac Mini, the new M1 Mac Mini, which is fantastic. It does exactly what we need it to, and it's connected up to the big flat screen TV. So we don't need an external monitor for it or anything. That's its use at the studio. And at home I have a 27-inch iMac with some absurd amount of RAM. I think I've got 64 gig of RAM in it, which is massive overkill. You don't need anywhere near that much. But yeah, it's great, and it's great because it has the big 27-inch monitor as well. So that works really, really well for me. But basically you're going to need a computer that can run Photoshop and Lightroom really well, because if it's stuttering and staggering and slowing you down, that's costing you time, and that's not something you don't want in your business. I'd recommend at least 16 gig of RAM. You can get away with 8, but 16 gig of RAM is a good starting point, and a decent processor, and obviously a good monitor. You don't want your colours coming out all funky when you print photos. The next one's not really equipment as such, but it is software, because software is kind of key in a photography business. You're going to need an Adobe suite, so you're going to want Lightroom and Photoshop at a minimum. You may also want some of the additional ones that come with it. You can get Premiere, you can get Adobe Spark, which is great for making graphics. Definitely Photoshop and Lightroom. You don't have to buy them standalone anymore. You can just get them on an Adobe subscription, which means it's much more affordable, and a good way of just kind of keeping up to date with the current version as well and all the updates that they bring in. You're probably also going to want some kind of customer relationship manager. So we use Lightblue, and it's a great way of us being able to kind of manage our workflow, keep on top of our clients and the calendar. And then the final thing on the list This is not an exhaustive list of everything you need for a photography business, but this is the minimum that you're going to need to get started. Are all the random kind of, let's call them miscellaneous accessories. You're going to want to make sure you've got lots of spare batteries, lots of SD cards, spare leads, anything that's like a consumable or can run out. Make sure you have more spares than you think you're going to need. There's lots of things you need in a photography business. There's lots of equipment, but they're kind of your key things to get you started. They'll allow you to take photos, to edit photos, to not run out of batteries, and to run your business. Alright, that's all for today. Take care. Bye bye.